Hey FlossTube, this is Mel from Mel's Travel and Stitching coming to you today from my living room in Lake Tahoe, California. Thank you to all my new subscribers and welcome back to my old regulars. First off, I owe a huge apology to people who commented on my last video and didn't receive a reply. I did reply to everyone's notes. And when I went in preparation for this video, I got onto my YouTube, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, dashboard, yes, there we go. And saw that my replies weren't there. And so I am truly embarrassed that several of you guys think that I was rude and didn't reply to you. So hopefully tonight, I don't think I'll have time this evening, but tomorrow I will reply to everyone again. And just know that at a minimum, I will give you a heart when I read your comment. And if I don't have time to reply right away, I will still give you a heart. So, yeah. Anyway, that really kind of threw me for a loop, considering I spent like an hour and a half one evening replying to everyone. And so anyway, okay, so yeah, so we had the snowiest May on record for South Lake Tahoe. So chilly, cold, woke up for, like 10 days straight. Woke up to snow every other morning. It was crazy. So I think we had snow as of just like 3 weeks ago, but weather has changed. We went right into summer, up to 80 degrees. The garden is really coming to life. Not a whole lot blooming right now, but, need to get out there and do some more work. But we've had cool weather today and tomorrow, and I think we're going to get back more to seasonally normal temperatures, which would be around 70, low 70s. So, right, and I think because of our cold, I'm looking at my notes. I think because of our cold weather, we've had so much bear activity. Last time I filmed, I told you I kept looking off to the side to see if the bear was coming. I positioned myself looking towards the glass today, so I can just look over. So if I'm not looking at the camera, that's why. But actually, let's see, after I last saw you, we had Mama Bear the next morning. Well, that was trash day. So Mama Bear was around, and then my little brownie bear, I call him Brownie, little Brownie, he's probably about 2 years old or so. He has come by 3 times, and one time I was at the kitchen sink and I could see him heading towards the bird feeder, got his paws up on the pole, and I'm racing around the dining table to get out the door, and all I had was a dish towel, and I'm out on the deck yelling, waving a dish towel at him, and he's like, I really want those seeds, and he was not interested in leaving, and then I could see him drooling, and so I thought, well, I'm not going to fight you for that bird seed. If you really need it, then I'm gonna. So I started to back up because I was home alone. No neighbors were home, and I'm not getting into an altercation with the bear. So fortunately, he did scramble off. But and then a few days later, we had some new bears that we hadn't seen before. It was a pair. They seemed like kind of troublemakers. 20-year-old dudes, not in bear years, but in like human years. So they're probably between 3 and 4 years old, not, fully grown yet, but good sized bears. But they weren't interested in the bird feeder at all. Right, so after telling my friend John about little Brownie and not wanting to back off, he got me an air horn, and sure enough, just last week, little Brownie came by, and again, I was home alone, and it was warm, so I had the door open, and I caught motion out of the corner of my eye and was able to grab the air horn off the dining table and and set it off, and woo, that is loud. But he took off running and like cut the corner of the front porch and ran up the street. So he has not come back since. So hopefully the air horn has done it. Anyway, enough bear. But I think, so we don't normally have that much bear activity. It's not abnormal to see a bear, but this spring was just really cold and wet, and so I don't, things weren't blooming, berries aren't ready yet. There's not a whole lot of greenery, things to eat. But there on our block, there's only 9 houses that are permanently occupied year-round, so we are a little more quiet right up to the forest, so they have to travel through our street to get to the more populated part of the neighborhood. So it's totally understandable. Anyway, okay, enough about bears. So one of the questions from my last video was about NPI, needlepoint ink silk. So I just wanted to show, this is from Sue. Here's the skein. Needlepoint Ink is a company in San Francisco. They do needlepoint, and they have their own line of silk thread. So these are solid colors. This one's a brown, as you can see. The color is 582. It's a brown color. And it's $5 a skein, and it's 5 meters, 8 ply silk, and it's yummy. I really enjoy working with silks, so give it a try if you can. Okay. Oh, and then you guys, I had my first real live FlossTube fan sighting in public. A few weeks ago, Steve and I were down at the Carson City Costco. We were down in Carson doing errands, and a woman walks up to me and says, excuse me, do you cross stitch? I'm like, looking to see if I had something on me or whatever, floss hanging from my sweater. No. And then she could see my confusion, and she said, do you make videos? And I said, yes, I do. And she said, okay, well, I'm a subscriber. And so it was really fun to meet Diane. Hi, Diane. I didn't ask her permission to give any more identifying details, but anyway, hopefully I can track her down again, and maybe we can do some stitching together. She was having a very successful mania, so that was cool to chat with her about that. And speaking of mania, so I set off with plans to have 6 starts, and I did. And when I last saw you, I had one more night of Plum Street Samplers Give. This is on 40 count vintage light exemplar using 1 strand of silk, needlepoint ink silk, over 2 linen threads. And after I last filmed, I worked on it that evening, and I finished up this line across here, and then I got this line of this side of leaves, and I have a few more leaves. I think it comes down to about here, but I was able to get all this done in one evening, so it did go pretty quickly, and it was hard to put it down because this is a really fun stitch, but I think I will put it away for a couple of months anyway. So, and then if you guys remember, I did June Year in Chalk, hands-on design, Catch a Wave, and last time I showed you guys I had to rip out one whole side, but I owed it 2 more nights, and I gave it the 2 more nights, and I ran out of the chalk floss. Ooh, excuse me. So I couldn't finish one of the whales, but I got everything else done, and then after Mania, I got the floss and finished the other whale. So we have my first Mania finish. Okay, and then I did Lizzie Kate's Spring String, which I had shown you in my last video, and I owed it I think 3 more nights, but I wasn't able to give it 3 more nights. May was kind of crazy. June's kind of crazy. Since I last saw you guys, I haven't stitched for 8 days. I mean, total. But anyway, I gave the spring string 2 more nights, and then after Maynia wrapped up this month in June, I was able to finish it up. So, got everything done on it. It's totally complete. All right. It's really cute. I love the colors. I used all the called for colors, and this is 28 count Monaco that I coffee dyed. Then my softball that I gave myself was just a little quick work tingles, the Just Batty, and I'm doing the whole piece, the whole series on one piece of linen, and it's 28 count milk chocolate that is coffee dyed. So this I was able to start and finish during Maynia, so it's my only official start and finish, because I'm calling it a finish, even though it's not really a finish. But I wanted to show you that I basted threads so I could make sure I got this started off in the right spot. You don't want your counting to be off, and it's easy in a piece this big. So I basted, and then I was just able to start. I didn't stitch yesterday, but Tuesday night I finished up another project that I'll show you. And I want to do a little more stitching before bedtime, so I started the next one. Okay. Then my start that I was most excited about, and so I put it as my grand finale, was Lila's Studio Halloween Quaker. And I'm doing this on 30 count Murky by Picture This Plus, called 4 threads. So I gave this a full 7 days because I had finished the tingles. That little box only took me 3 nights, and they were kind of short nights anyway. So I had some extra time, and so I gave 7 nights to this. But I'm really disappointed in the chart. I've never stitched a Lila's Studio before, and the cover photo doesn't have as many motifs that show up in the chart, and then also the cover photo shows more color. Like this motif here at the end of the moon is in this. I think it's called Smoke, Classic Colorworks Smoke. And it's charted in black coffee, maybe, the same color as this motif. And I started here at the moon, and then I went down here and was stitching this, and I was like, oh, I remember this being much brighter on the cover photo. So I'm having to really pay attention, and I am changing out some of the motif colors from the chart, and then also, like I said, there's more motifs on the chart than are in the cover photo, so I want to make sure the colors are balanced. And anyway, but that's not that big of a deal. But then what really bummed me out is I was working down here, so I came over, did the moon, did this motif, did the pumpkin. This was the end of whatever page I was working on, and then there's a new page down here. So I got that next page out and realized that the grade part that shows the carryover from the page above was incorrect, and the gray line was too low for this. What is this? Is that the witch's hat? Yeah, witch's hat. And anyway, it wasn't going to be right, and I thought, oh, okay, so I need an extra line of gray, across the board. Well, then I looked over at the wording and stuff, and that is placed correctly. So I'm really gonna just have to I have to make a working copy, which I don't normally do, but I'll make a working copy. But I decided to go ahead and work over here and work from the top. So I still have one more motif to do down here, and then work my way down just so I can see what's really going to happen. Because this says Happy Halloween, I have to make sure all the words fit in, all the letters fit in with the other motifs and so forth. But man, I love this fabric. Picture this plus 40 count murky. Beautiful. And it's really nice to work with. So this, you know, I was so excited to start it, and then I was bummed that the chart has so many errors. I've never had a chart with so many errors in it, but anyway, I'll make it work. Fortunately, you know, I've been stitching for a long time, and I'm comfortable doing that, but that's not a chart for a beginner, I would say. Okay, so that got me through the end of May, and right then starting June 1, I went back and I picked up the pieces that I hadn't. Hold on. Wow, you guys, that was amazing. So the landline rang, and that was Steve, and I did, for the first time ever, manage to hit the pause button instead of the stop button. So we're going to be able to finish this video, but he just finished his last class for the spring quarter, so he's so excited. Just want to let me know he's on his way home, and we're meeting some friends for cocktails, so I need to get this video wrapped up. Anyway, where was I? I was saying, right, so June 1 I started, because I can't handle having all these whips hanging out there. I started Maynia with 8 whips, and then I had 6 starts with only 1 finish, so right, that put me at 13. Yeah, I'm not going to do the math right now. I'm brainless. Anyway, so like I showed you, I was able to go ahead and finish the June year in chalk, finish the spring string, and then I went back to, this was also a Maynia start, Welcome Spring by the Drawn Thread. So I went back and finished that, which I love. So beautiful. So this is with Dinky Dyes, silk thread, and needlepoint ink silk. My favorite are these pink flowers here. They're so pretty. And this is not an Ada friendly piece. So you must do this, ooh, excuse me, on linen. But I do want to let you know, I had all the colors except for the Robin Egg Blue, and this is a Silken Colors Great Melange. Thread Gatherer Silken Colors Great Melange. And it's so beautiful. Look at that variegation. And it only used 1 strand, so I cut this piece off, tried to get the, you know, 1 set of the variegation. And I just used 1 strand of the floss, which, I don't know what the ply, it's 5 yards. I don't remember what the ply is. Anyway, what I'm trying to tell you is that I have a lot of this, and if anybody is doing this chart, I would be more than happy to send you a piece. So just leave me a note and I will put this in the mail to you. Because I almost didn't get it because it was just a few stitches here, but look how beautiful that is, that bud. I don't know if that's a thistle or what it really is, but it's important to have, and you know, that color in there. So that's finished. So coming out of Maynia, I just have 2 whips left over from Maynia to add to my 8 prior. And one of those 8 is the Tingles, so it's, you know, a little convoluted. But I went back to my other spring whips, which was Lizzie Kate's Spring Alphabet. And I got that finished up. This is on 32 count shell by Witchelt, using all the called for threads. And I love all the bright colors. You know, I'm not normally a spring colors kind of girl, but this is pretty, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Unfortunately, there are 3 buttons and a charm that go on here, but I put them somewhere really safe before I left for South America, and I'm not able to find them. So, you know, but it's for spring, so I'll be able, hopefully before next spring, track that down. Right, and I wanted to show you this chart is a full 8.5 by 11 piece. And I put it in a sheet protector so I can work from it. And then I made a copy of the symbols with the thread key and put it in the front side so I didn't have to keep flipping the page back and forth. And I can just move that little square of paper around to where I'm not working. And I just was helpful for me. It's the first time I've ever done that, but I thought maybe somebody could use that themselves. Little tip. Okay, and then I have a whip from last year that I started last spring that I got finished. Snowdrop Hill Sampler by Victoria Sampler. And so I dug that out and I got it finished. This is on 28 count antique almond, and I love this fabric. It's not made anymore, but man, it is a really beautiful fabric. So if you guys have this in your stash, like, you know, get it out and use it. Beautiful. It's really nice and thick, and it's soft. I stitch in hand, it's soft, but not too soft. Anyway, I got the, you know, with Victoria Sampler, they have so many different threads that they use, and I went ahead and got the thread pack. So this isn't Gentle Arts cottons and some Gloriana silks, some Krynic silks, I think. Anyway, it's really pretty. Lots of specialty stitches in here. Each one of these bands is a specialty stitch. Yeah, so starting in, I had done to here, so I had to finish here, and then I had left this band here because this was my least favorite band, and you know, a few nights ago I'm like, well, I got to finish it. So this is the Lazy Daisy stitch and French knots, and I'm not really a French knot girl. I normally do colonial knots, but I thought there's 25 French knots on this piece, so that I would make myself do the French knots. And I did, and I'm fairly happy with how they turned out. You know, they're there, they're done, and we're gonna call it good. So we'll have to get that framed and ready to go for next spring. But it's nice to have that finish. So I'm actually back to, I think, 8 whips. So we're cool. Like I showed you, I started, when I finished up the Snowdrop Hill, I had a little bit of time still, or I didn't want to go to bed, basically. I wanted to keep stitching. I did that little bit of, on the tingles on the next one. But what else I'm going to work on is my America. This is from the Stony Creek collection, July, August 1992. Yep. A friend gave this to me, and I finally got it started last summer. And I gotta pick it up. And this is good old DMC and blending filament. So it's got red, blue, and gold blending filament, and the gold actually has 3 different colors of DMC in it to give it the depth for the firework, which is really pretty. This is 28 count Jobelin, black Jobelin, and I'm not a Jobelin fan, but it's what was given to me, and I started it, and I think this was, no, I would say this is the first time I worked on it, but I did that Let It Snow last year on the Jobelin, but that I had cut off this bigger piece. But anyway, I hope we can get this, me can get this finished up. The blending filament is a bit of a pain, and you got to get in your groove. So I kind of did some up in the fireworks, and then I did regular cross stitch down here. But I hope I can get that finished up. And then my next, when I get a little overloaded with that. The other piece I'm going to work on is the Hot House Petunia Gulf and Chatter Club, and I started this on our cruise, our South America cruise that went from Buenos Aires to Manaus, Brazil. And let's see, remind you where I was. These adorable flamingos here with this water. So this is a pretty quick stitch, so I should be able to get this finished up shortly. But I'm really going to try and focus on the America piece. Okay. Gotta look at my notes. Right, purchases. So I have one purchase. Okay, well, I have other purchases, but they're not here yet. But this is courtesy of Helen D, East Coast Crafter. She showed this book, Best of Renato Parolin, and I have gotten a couple of his charts over the winter for about Christmas. But she showed this book, and I had to have this little spring scene. I love how it's on the banding, so I'll have to track that down. And then it has this adorable, looks like a little wooden sign. So I'm gonna have to see what I can do to come up with that same kind of look. So that's spring, well, in French, spring. And then this is the summer one with the squirrel, which is so adorable. And I love those twigs on the framing. So I'll have to do something along those lines. And then this all one color squirrel with the oak leaves is so cute. I got an oak tree. We're in pine country here, but I got a Rocky Mountain oak tree a couple of years ago. It is just so cute. So I would love to stitch that. And then for some reason, I am drawn to this Noel in the alphabet. This is not really what I would call my style, but somehow, I don't know if it's like the pine trees in here or what, got me hooked. And then there's one more that I have marked in here that is another of the squirrels, and it's, or that band kind of theme with the squirrels with the Santa hats and exchanging the gifts. I mean, that just is adorable. So that, thanks Helen, I love it. Okay, I have a giveaway for you guys. It's an embroidery kit that I picked up in Peru. There's a store called Casa Ideas, which reminds me of like a Crate and Barrel. They don't have furniture, but they have housewares, you know, bedding, linens, kitchen things. Anyway, they have this cute embroidery kit. I'm not an embroiderer, but I love the colors and I love the fish, and I thought maybe somebody out there in FlossTube land would love to have this. So it's a complete kit with the fabric and the floss and the hoop. It's sealed, but just in comments to enter the giveaway, tell me what's your dream destination? Where would you love to go? Peru might be on some of your lists. Okay, we had another hold. Steve just came home from work, so I need to wrap this up, but I was pretty much at the end anyway. I just wanted to let you know that I did those two pieces that I showed you last time that I entered into the state fair. I think I told you I had gotten accepted to drop off. Right, I had gotten, and we went and dropped it off, the two pieces off, and then just a couple of weeks ago I found out that they did get accepted for official judging, and there are 9 pieces total in the judging, and I have 2 of them, so we'll see how that goes. The fair is mid-July, runs for like 3 weekends and the weekdays in between, so sometime in July we'll go down and see how I did. It's always fun to do that. And then I was a busy beaver. I did 9 pieces. I entered into our county fair and finished those. 5 of them are framed. 4 of them are like flat mounts that I still entered in the frame division. So, whew, I was very happy to get those off to the fair, and I will show you those next time, those 9 pieces from the county fair, and let you know how they did. And one other thing is last Wednesday, I went to San Francisco for my 6-month post-surgery and radiation checkup. So I got an all clear. So good news there. I am cleared for 6 months. And the other cool thing is I was able to get my medication, the tamoxifen that I'm on, that I have to be on for 5 years. I've had quite a few side effects, and the doctor is letting me reduce my dosage. So hopefully we can reduce the side effects. So one other thing, reminder for you ladies, please get your mammograms. If you already, we're 6 months into the year, and if you haven't had one, please make sure you have it scheduled, at least for the next half of the year. Also, my doctor is heading up a study, a large study. They want 100,000 women to participate. And the study is to determine whether women should have a yearly mammogram or whether it should be personalized based on your individual risk criteria and your genetics. And so they are looking for women between the ages of 40 and 74 who have not had breast cancer. And there's some other characteristics that they're looking for, or not characteristics, just some parameters for the study. And I will put that information down below in the description box. So if anyone is interested in participating in that study, it's not, you don't have to go anywhere. It's all done electronically. And I would love to be able to participate, because basically they're trying to see, is it, can women push to 18 months between mammograms instead of every year? Or, should some women be going every 6 months, like I am now, just because their risk is so high, and versus the 1 year thing. Anyway, I'll put that info below. And oh geez, could we not wait 4 weeks between filming? Hope so. Hope to see you sometime soon. 2 weeks. I think that's my goal. But all right, I'm rambling, and it's time for cocktails. So thanks for watching, and happy stitching.